are you? So today is a little bit of a different background because I am tired. I have had a day, and I don't feel like standing over there to do the podcast. So, if you're new here, this is the Apple Crafts podcast. My name is Alicia, and I'm filming outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I am a yarn dyer, and you can find me on Etsy as Apple Crafts Fine Yarn, and you can also find me on Instagram as Apple Crafts Fine Yarn, and on BlueSky. APLCrafts. I'll put it down here because I've been on BlueSky 4 times. Do you think I'd remember my handle? But I'll put it down here. Anyway, so it is the end of the month, and new thing that I'm doing is at the end of the month I'm going over my 2025 list and anything that I'm making on that 2025 list and future plans for that list. And at the beginning of the month I'm just showing off regular whips that I'm doing. So I have some finishes, and I started something new since the last time you saw me for the 2025 list. So I finished my Elsa socks. Here we go. And the modifications that I did for these socks, let me back up. The pattern is called the Elsa cable socks, and the designer is Valya, Boutenko. Okay, so modifications that I made for this pattern, the original is in fingering weight, and I went to DK, which means I had to change the amount of cables and whatever was going on the side. So it's a little bit of modification there. Another modification that I did was I changed the rate of cabling on a couple of the rows just to give it a little bit of movement and flow through the cabling. And then a new thing that I'm doing with my socks is doing a little bit of reinforcement under the ball of the foot, and this is just a slip one, knit one, and then knit the next row, slip one, knit the next row. And I do my toe, and then I do that up to 4 inches, and then I just do regular stockinette or knit stitches, and then I do that same reinforcement on the short row heel. Yeah, so I knit those on US 4, and what was my stitch count? I don't remember. I don't know if I wrote it down. I'm looking at my computer because, like I said, I need to sit. 26 stitches. So what is that? That's 54 stitches? Yes. That's 54 stitches, I think. Math is hard. It was never my strong suit. English was my strong suit. I very much gravitate toward the classical literature. I don't even read anything modern, unless it's Dan Brown, but he hasn't written a book in a while. Although he's got a new book coming out soon, from what I understand. Anyway, so that's it for that. The color is Robin, for Robin's Egg Blue, and the yarn company, I don't remember the yarn company, but it's Australian Merino. I actually have the tag over here, hold on. Pear Tree Yarn. So there we go with that. And then the next thing that I finished was the Simple Steek Mug Cozy. It's a free pattern. The Elsa socks are not free, but this Steeking Mug Cozy thing is free. And in my 2025 list, I have a window right here, and I keep seeing stuff fly by. The 2025 list, I purposely put in things that I could learn. So I've got steeking in there, I've got brioche in there. Although I've done brioche before, I need to relearn it because I don't really remember that. So that's in there. I know there's something else in there. I can't think of it right now. But I'm just trying to like find things to learn, as well as also use up my paid for patterns that I've got. So anyway, so this is the Simple Steek Cozy. I put in a button, a very floppy. I'm not very good at putting in buttons. I mean, I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it, but that's what I did. Maybe I need to get a button lesson or something. I don't know. So this is the first time I ever actually properly steeked anything. It was a learning curve. So I'm glad that this pattern exists because, yeah. So it was already in 3 colors, and I just put the 2, right? This is using Let Lopi in a pink and in a white. And so you knit, 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 do all the things. Okay. This part you're adding, right? So the original is just this, okay? And you're knitting it in the round, right? Like you do. And then you have your stitches that you do for your steeking area. Okay, fine. So that part, I don't know why I had trouble with the chart at the beginning, but I did. It's whatever. Okay. So then it has you do a crocheted reinforced row, right? Which is what I did. Oh, it's not here now, but let's just pretend. Okay, so I did a reinforcement like over here, right? Not really over here, but like I said, we have to pretend. So I did a reinforcement, and then I had read on a Tin Can Knits page, I don't even know what it was for. It might have been, I was probably, I don't know if I was searching steeking or I don't know how I ended up on this page. Anyway, they were suggesting that you could, after you do the reinforcement, that you do your button band before you cut. I was like, okay, I'll try that. This is where I fucked up. Okay, so I do the reinforcement, right? And then, so let's pretend that the reinforcement was over here. So I put the button band there, right? On, say the reinforcement's here. Put the reinforcement here, and then I did the button band on the other side, not closer to where the material is, but on the other side, right? And then I did the same thing over here. So then I start feeling like, okay, this doesn't feel like it's really in there, you know? So I start pulling on it, and I'm like, oh, all of these stitches are coming out. What the hell? What is going on? I don't think that's supposed to happen. You're supposed to do the picking up the ball band and stuff on the other side of the reinforcement. So now I know, let's pretend that this is a sweater, right? And let's pretend that the steeking is over here and your reinforcement is over here, right? So let's pretend that this little diamond here is the middle where you would cut, and your reinforcement is over here with these 2 diamonds, right? Okay, so when you're going to pick up your button band, you don't do it over here, you do it over here on the other side of the reinforcement. And so now I know. So I had to do that all over again. I'm glad that the reinforcement was there, because on the other side of the reinforcement, it was fine. But on the other, like on the inside part of the reinforcement, it was not fine. So now I know. So this looks like hell. I mean, here's the inside. It looks bad, right? It just looks bad. It's my first time steeking, so you know. But now I know, and I think what I'm gonna do is, if I ever find a pattern that has steeking and I want to do it, I'm going to practice one more time with another cozy or something and make sure that I've got it, because this is really janky. Like, it's just bad, right? Like when I picked up the stitches for the button band, it wasn't an even number of stitches on either side. It's just, it was a mess. It was a mess. So yeah, next time I think I'm gonna do this one more time if I ever make a steeking pattern. I don't think I have anything in my paid patterns right now that are steeked, so that's probably not gonna happen. But now I've got, you know, I demystified steeking, which was my goal. And if I ever do it for realsies, I will make another one so I can get more practice in while I'm knitting the actual steeked garment, because I'm not having to worry about all that other stuff until the thing is done, right? So I can knit the garment if I ever find a pattern that I like, but then when I actually want to go ahead and start like reinforcing and cutting and all that, I'll make another one of these since I have the pattern, and get more practice in. I think I forgot to tell you who the designer was for this. So it's the Simple Steek Mug Cozy by Dorie, Lysaght. So everything will be linked down below. So there's that. Now I started a new project. I think I started this project February 6th. Yeah, so definitely about a week after you saw my last 2025 update. So at the beginning of the year, I was talking about all that Jamieson's, I don't think it's Jamieson and Smith, it's the other Jamieson's. Jamieson's of Shetland yarn that I had, and all the different patterns I could make with it. So I settled on Cardoon by Isabell Kraemer, and I just split for sleeves yesterday. So here's the yoke. This yarn, this is the double knitting yarn. It's very scratchy. I hope it softens, otherwise I'll have to wear a shirt underneath it. It's not as scratchy as Let Lopi, but it's still scratchy. I would probably say it's kind of like if you ever worked with like Jacob yarn, like a rough farm Jacob yarn, that's kind of what it feels like. So I'm definitely going to, when I do block this, give it like a good healthy amount of Eucalypt, and maybe even throw in some conditioner too. I don't know. But yeah, I just split for sleeves. So what I had to do with this, for starters, I made the size 46.5, and I'm knitting this on a US 6, and the red, it's called Bramble, and the gray is called Sholmet. I don't know what a Sholmet is, but that's what it's called. And so I did do a little bit of modification, but every garment that I make, I have to make this modification. So that's just how it is. So I always have to add stitches in the arm area, and I do most of my, I would say I probably split it in half actually. Yeah, so I usually add like 12 to 15 stitches on the arm up here before I hold the stitches for the arm, like for the sleeves. And then when I'm adding stitches on the bottom, after I put the stitches on hold for the sleeves, I do, these have 30. So what I have to do, and that gives me a deep enough armhole. So, because I need something that's like 18 inches all around. So I'm hoping that this is good enough. But what I have to do once I get to this part where I put the stitches on is that, okay, now that I've got all these stitches on, my body is going to be bigger. So I have to do a couple rows and then start decreasing here. Now, not very rapidly, but I have to start decreasing on the side seam, right? Or side seam, quote unquote. So I think I did 2 rows and then did a decrease. And I probably won't do another decrease for like another 5 or 6 rows after that. And then I'll do like another decrease, like maybe 2 or 3 inches after that. And then I'll try it on, because I know that it's going to be bulky on the sides. Another, this is the back. Okay, so this is my marker for the back. This is not my progress keeper. It just lets me know where my back is. Another thing that I do is I can't move stitches around for my back because I have very broad shoulders, but my actual back is not as broad. So what I have to do is I have to keep the yoke the same, right? And then once I get below the yoke, then I have to start decreasing stitches. So, and not too many. It ends up being about 1.5 inches that I have to decrease. So I got to spread it about. So after I get like right around where I start doing where I add stitches for the arms, I will decrease here and decrease here and decrease one in the middle. And then I'll knit a round or 2, and then I'll decrease 1 here and 1 here. And then I'll knit another round or 2, and then I'll do another decrease here, here, and in the middle, and then that's it. That gives me about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and then my back is fine. Otherwise, what happens, and I learned this the hard way, is that if I don't do that, I have a whole this extra fabric on my back and it just looks bulky, and I don't like that. I like my clothes to be not form-fitting, but I don't like a lot of ease, like maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of ease on my sweaters. So I realized that if I don't do that, then I just have all this extra fabric in the back, and I don't like that. Everything else is fine, but it's just the back. So that's why I have to decrease where I do, because like I said, I need all that fabric on the shoulders, but once I get down here, I don't need it as much. So, so this is straight stockinette knitting, or I shouldn't say stockinette because I'm not going back and forth. It's just straight knit stitches forever until I'm done with the body. The original pattern does have patterning on the bottom part before you knit the ribbing for the hem. I don't think I'm going to do that part, but I am going to do it on the arms right before you do the ribbing for the cuff. And I think what I might do too, and I should have enough yarn for this, is I'll do the color work that's on the wrists, and then I'll do the cuffs in red, and maybe do the cuff for the body in the red. I think I have enough yarn. This is how much yarn I have left. If I don't have enough for that, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I have enough for that. No, I won't. Well, that's gonna look silly, isn't it? All right, that means I'm just gonna have to do the color work on the for the cuff. I'll definitely have enough for that. So that's what I will do, and then whatever's left over, I guess, just goes into my scrap pile. So and that's all I have. Things that I'm working on for 2025. So I am going to see what I'm planning on working on next. So I'm going to put a picture up. I am thinking about doing the Simple Skip Socks by Adrienne Koo. It is a paid for pattern, but it says, let me click on this, also available for free info and notes. Oh, okay, so she's got discount codes. So there's a discount code if you want it for free. There's a discount code if you want it for 50% off and pay a little bit of money. And then no coupon code, you pay the full price. So the original pattern is in sport weight. I'm going to use DK, so that means that I'm going to have to fiddle around with the pattern a little bit, but I don't think that will be hard because I think it comes in different sizes. Yes, it does. Men's extra small, small, medium, and large. So this is just a men's sock. I'm knitting it anyway. So yeah, I should be able to pick a size and be fine with it. But the patterning, it looks like, from far away it looks like ribbing, but then it's got like something that looks like this in between, like a stockinette column and a stockinette column, some kind of thing like this. I guess that's the skip part. Oh, I think skip is supposed to stand for something. Yeah, you'd think I've been knitting my whole life, right? Well, I haven't been knitting for 7 years, but, you know, long enough. I think it stands for something. I know I've looked at the pattern. Well, when I get to it, I'll definitely talk about it more. But right now, my plans are to do that sock next and to do it in a DK weight yarn. I haven't even picked out the yarn yet, so I don't know. And, yes, that's my next plan. And I think that's it. Do you want to see my orchid? You want to see my orchid? I'll show you my orchid. Hold on. She's not much yet, but look, she's got little buds. So I don't know when she's gonna bloom, but she's gonna bloom soon. I'm so excited. I've had this orchid for 2 years, and I didn't know that they were perennial. So I was like, okay, well, it doesn't look like it's dying, so it should be okay. I mean, if you know anything about orchids, you probably hate me right now by looking at this. This is what the soil looks like. I do plan on repotting it this summer because this looks, to me, it looks bad. So, but, I mean, I'm keeping it alive good enough. I don't know what that is. What is that? I think it's a hair. Yeah, okay. That's all I got for today. Short and sweet. I think all my 2025s are going to be short because it's not a whole lot of stuff to work on. So as long as I work on something, then I'll get through the list by the end of the year, which is the goal. Or try to get as much of it done by the end of the year, as opposed to like maybe getting 4 or 5 things done and then working on a whole bunch of others. So I will see you in 2 weeks with my whips and other stuff. And I don't really have any life things going on right now. Not really. Everybody's good. Yeah. I did plant some seeds thinking that, you know, summer was here because, okay, there's a thing called full spring, right? And we do get full spring. Okay, fine. And I've been gardening for, oh God, 15 years, 16 years. So when you garden every year, you pay more attention to the weather, right? Okay. So here I am looking at the weather. This was a couple weeks ago, and we're like in the 50s and in the 60s and in the 40s and all that. And I'm going, okay, this is a little early. So do I put any of my spring seeds out? Do I dare? Because at this point it was like warm for like a good solid couple of weeks, right? So I'm just like, I should have at the very least clean my garden beds. So I got halfway there because my asparagus bed really needed cleaning out. So I got that mostly done. I still need to go out there and do that. But I like got some pots together and like condensed some dirt and did all these things. Okay. And I decided to go ahead when it hit 70 to go ahead and plant these seeds, right? Because usually I would say 9 times out of 10, right? By March, it's summer weather, or what should be summer weather. It's like you're not going below 70 degrees, right? It's just not happening. Maybe at night, but like during the day, it's by March, okay? And usually in February, it's like ice storm month. Okay, this is how it's nine times out of 10. This is how it is. So I'm looking at this weather and I'm just like, this just seems a little weird. I think I'm gonna go for it because I've never seen it get this hot. So maybe like, you know, and it's rare for us to have a spring to begin with. Like the last few years we kind of had a spring, but most of the time that I've been down here, and I've been down here 20 years, I haven't really seen a spring. We just go from winter to summer. So I plant the seeds. Wouldn't you know, like 4 or 5 days later, no, it's a 10-day forecast. Somewhere in there, after I plant the seeds, it goes back down to like 20 degrees in the teens. Today it's, I don't know, 14 degrees or 18 degrees or something like that. We had snow. It was only 2 inches, but we had snow. I was like, are you effing kidding me? They're old seeds, right? I have a tendency to keep old seeds, and I do actually bring them back to life. So I've brought back to life 13-year-old basil seeds. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not worried about that. I've got all kinds of seeds, and I did finish a couple packets. It's fine. It's whatever. And I saved my own seed. I'm not worried about that. It's just the fact that I went out there and did the thing, and I don't think that any of those seeds are going to make it. I would be surprised if they didn't die. I would be surprised. I mean, it's chard and kale and spinach and radish, turnip, cilantro, lettuce. That's what I planted. The cilantro will probably make it because I usually get bumper crops of cilantro because those seeds, if you ever grown cilantro, when the plant goes to seed, the seeds just go everywhere. You try pulling the dry stalks out of the ground, and before you can even save the seeds, you've already got like 30 or 40 thrown, on the ground. I went out there the other day. I've got 4 or 5 patches of cilantro just growing wherever. That's just how cilantro is. And I threw that seed everywhere that day that I planted. So I'm pretty sure the cilantro is fine. Not so sure about the other stuff. Maybe the kale and chard will be okay. I don't know. I have more seed. I'm not worried about it. It's just the fact that like I played myself because I thought that we were good and then we weren't good. So, but it's okay. I got to wear my knits for a little bit longer. So yeah, you win some, you lose some. All right. Well, I think I need to go pick up a cat med. So I'm going to go and say goodbye, and I will see you in 2 weeks with my whips. And I hope you are doing all right, and I hope you make something fun. All right, talk to you later. Bye.